Hey, it's Wednesday, time for an Action Figure Adventures video here on SEO Toy Review. Today, Baby Skeletor and I are taking a look at two Action Vinyl Masters of the Universe figures from the Loyal Subjects. We've got the glow-in-the-dark edition of Skeletor and the glow-in-the-dark edition of He-Man. These two figures were web exclusives for the Loyal Subjects in 2016. It's just their standard He-Man and Skeletor figures, but with special glow-in-the-dark paint apps. I think they're pretty fun. I really like the Loyal Subjects style figures. My biggest problem with them is that mostly you have to buy them as blind boxes, and they're very pricey for blind box figures. They're as much as a standard action figure, but they're really nice action figures. The problem is when you're buying duplicates that it gets a little rough. Here we've got these guys out of the package. Let's break it down and take a look at them one at a time. We'll start with He-Man. This particular He-Man is fairly tan. He's got some orangey hair there. You may notice that his power sword really gets sheathed funny. The way his head is sculpted, there's not a lot of room to stick this back there. The Lord Fauntleroy, Prince Valiant hair gets in the way. He's got lots of glow-in-the-dark paint on him, though, with his chest harness, his belt, his bracers, even some of the wraps on his feet, and then, of course, the majority of all his weapons are glow-in-the-dark. It's too bad his power sword came out a little bit warped there. The accessories are fairly flexible. I was a little nervous they might be brittle, being glow-in-the-dark plastic. They also have a little bit of a chalky feel to them, as opposed to the plastic of the character. Like with all the Action Vinyl figures, the hands are really tight grips. So I had to kind of work to get these weapons into the hands. It actually scuffed a little bit of paint off the handle of the sword here, revealing more of the glow-in-the-dark. Or not the sword, the axe. The handle of the shield is pretty good for trying to stretch out the fingers because you can't rub any paint off with it. So that's kind of good. You can actually put it in each hand and leave it in there for a little while to stretch the hands out a little bit. These guys have such great articulation. Let me get rid of his sword for a second. Articulation at the head, at the shoulders. No elbow joints, but they do have wrist articulation. They've got a twist at the waist, rotations at the hips there, nothing at the knee, but they also have ankle articulation. So these guys are more well articulated than the original Masters of the Universe figures, and I really like the design of these guys. They're just a ton of fun. By the power of Grayskull, I have the power!
Oh, shut up, He-Man! Everyone's tired of hearing it!
Here we've got Skeletor. He's got a glow-in-the-dark bone face, and then, of course, the ram's head on his Havoc staff glows, the axe blade, and his own version of the power sword, which is also warped, can all glow in the dark. So these guys come with 3 accessories, more than they can hold. I chose to holster the swords on their backs and give them the axes in their hands, just because it gets them to hold the most of their stuff. Really, Skeletor just needs the Havoc staff, or maybe the Havoc staff and his sword, to be pretty toy and cartoon accurate. He uses the axe in one episode of the cartoon show. This figure is similarly articulated as He-Man is. He does have a loincloth piece here and these little shoulder pads. Shoulder pads don't really get in the way, but the loincloth does affect articulation a little bit. And then he has an articulated jaw inside the hood here, but it just barely moves. There's just not a lot of space in there, but it is pretty cool nonetheless. I think I like the Skeletor the best as far as these guys being just standard figures, if these are the only ones you're going to own, because he looks the most like a normal Skeletor. But if you are going for like cool glow-in-the-dark funky toys, this He-Man looks so awesome when he's glowing because there's just so much on him that lights up. But then again, Skeletor's got the glowing face, which is kind of cool. Oh my goodness, I can't decide. In the comments below, let me know. I'm going to put a clip in right here of them glowing in the dark. Let me know which one you think is the better glow-in-the-dark figure. Thanks for watching this Action Figure Adventures video. Do Baby Skeletor a favor, hit that like and subscribe button.